Well, this is Rachel Love, sorry producer. We're having some trouble with our video started, but let's just go ahead and start with Power Talk with Jean Adrienne. You're live, Jean.
Thank you, Rachel. Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Welcome back. It's been a long, hot summer, and I think both Rachel and I enjoyed having the summer off. But I'm so excited to be back with you again. We'll be back every Monday going forward. Not next Monday because it's Labor Day, but other than that, we'll be here every Monday. And I'm going to be bringing you some amazing people I want you to meet. And today, the amazing person that I want you to meet is my friend, Janet Furst. Janet was born in Western Pennsylvania to immigrant stock. And after college, she moved to West Virginia. And she raised a family, and she lived in the country and worked in the field of psychology and counseling. And in the late 1990s, she actually began writing stories and poems, and that changed her life. She's a mother, she's a grandmother, and she lives in West Virginia. And she's got 2 books out now. One is called Everyday Truths of a Rainbow Woman, and the second is the first in a trilogy, Cabin Lessons. Her website is janetfurst.com, JANETFURST.com. So check out her website and welcome, Janet.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here.
Oh, well, I'm so thrilled to be talking to you because, I'm all about people who have the courage to write their truth down on paper and then share it with the world. So I just want to know, how did you get started writing and telling your story and getting it out for other people to learn from?
I started writing for my own understanding, just trying to figure out how to make changes in my own life and looking for answers. And that began my writing journey. I, at one point, came up with the word creative writer, and it was my intention to become that. Of course, I did borrow from my own life, and yet my work is fiction.
And I think that's maybe how a lot of us get started, because I know that's how I got started. I wrote my story, and quite frankly, I didn't think anybody would be interested in it. And I shared it with a woman who is like a writing coach and editor, just to kind of get her take on it. And when she came back to me and said, wow, this is good, I was like, what? And that was the beginning. And now it's, 5 books and 2 decks of cards into it. And you're 2 books into your journey. So, yeah. So you started writing about your life, but, your first book is a lot of stories about other lifetimes, right?
It is. It's a combination of other women in the novel. It's the idea that they were past lives of the main character, and that she was learning about them by going deep within herself. Mm-hmm. And the truth is, as she wrote creatively about these lives, which were imaginary or not imaginary, I don't think we really know that. Right. But in writing about them, she came to a greater understanding about her present life at that time and was able to make changes. So it was like the creative writing brought her to more acceptance of her true life.
Sure. Now, so how much of that book is based on Janet?
Oh, it's based on Janet. It's based on Janet beginning as an imaginative, creative writer and then coming to more and more truth of the reality of her situation.
Yeah, exactly. And I believe, even though so much of my work is based on helping people clear past life karma stuff, I really think that it's all happening now. Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't know, maybe this flesh and blood existence is the dream and everything else is the real. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I'm still trying to figure that out.
Yes, and that's what my writing's about. The big I don't know. And trying to understand. And then sometimes I think the answer is just to accept that we really don't know, and that coming from the unknown is the greatest strength.
Absolutely. It's interesting. I was working with a client last night, actually, and one of the files in InnerSpeak is called Meaning. And it's not something that you can just go to, and because it's not my job to tell anybody what their purpose is and why they're here. But when it does come up, it's an opportunity for me to share with the client what their higher soul wants them to know about why they're here. And this particular guy, his meaning that came up was about accepting the mystery. Mm-hmm. And he'd gotten into really linear life, and he had lost that childlike, oh, wow, and he had stopped accepting the mystery, and it caught him right between the eyes. He was like, whoa, because he was able to see that. And I think, that's one of the things that I love about you is that you do embrace that childlike wonder, and you do look at life, personally, because I know you, and secondly, through your writing, with a non-judgmental, just a beautiful openness.
Oh, I thank you.
Well, have you always been that way?
Writing does involve judgment. A lot of it is judging myself or judging the actions of this main character and then trying to sort it out. I was given saying a long time ago, fear and trust do not walk hand in hand. And I feel that's been an important part of my writing, to look for the trust, all the while kind of writing out the fears to clear the pathway.
Yeah, I mean, because I do think we have to look at the stuff personally and examine it in order to be able to let it go.
Let it go. I like your words. I love the word mystery, which is beautiful. It's really all the mystery. We don't know. And that we just have to let it go.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, but the message that I keep getting from lots of different inputs has to do with the fact that so much of the decision-making process that I have done in this lifetime up until this very moment has been based on history, based on things that I've either experienced or that I've read about or that I was told about or whatever, and that's shaped my choices. In most cases, it's limited my choices. So I really feel like all of us are in this process right now where the universe is pushing us to let go of the history, write it down so that we can put it down.
Yeah, that's good. And be here now.
Yeah, exactly. So, what kind of advice do you have for other people, primarily women, because I mean, it's primarily women who watch this show, about, getting started if they've heard that little inner voice say, you should go into creative writing. You should try that. Where would you suggest that they start?
With a piece of paper.
Okay.
And then from that, just put on that paper whatever comes. If it's the same sentence over and over again, that's a beginning. If it's the same word over and over again, that's a beginning. If it's a doodle, that's a beginning. At one point I was blocked from writing and couldn't get myself to write again, and I would write in the air. And that seemed to block something within me.
Oh,
and
cool.
I believe the key is not to censor, which, all the things that I say are not necessarily what I've always done, but I will put that out to not judge what's coming up, not judge what you're putting down. Let it flow. Write it for yourself, not to share, put it away.
Yeah.
And then later, if you feel that it's important to share it, then you can share it. But the beginning is about doing it for yourself.
So do you journal?
I am not a consistent journaler. When events come up in my life that I feel like I need to glean understanding from, I have to write. And then I'll either write on a piece of paper or I will write on my computer and just it'll pour out of me. It's really a mess.
Yeah.
Sometimes really good stuff comes out of that.
Yeah, and I think that there's enough of that inner critic inside our head that we have to get past when we write, because it will say, wait a minute, that's not a complete sentence. Oh, you spelled that word wrong. Stuff like that will slow us down. So I like what you're saying about don't worry about how it comes out. Just get it out there.
Yeah, it's not about proper English. It's not about, getting it right grammatically. It's about going within yourself. I mean, if you dreams to me are key. there were years, I'm not doing that now, but every once in a while I'll do it. A really vivid dream will show up.
Yeah.
People will show up, my grandmothers, my mother, somebody from my past who's on the other side, and I will get up and write that down.
Yeah.
And I find that really helpful to me. And then to keep writing, write the dream, and then keep writing, whether it's connected to the dream or not. And
Sure.
I find that practice can get me through a day.
Writing is really cathartic, because I know that when I was writing my first book, which was my story, I would write a little bit and then I would have to cry. And I would just purge, and then I'd go write some more, and then I'd cry some more. But I tend to be a crier anyway. You've seen me in workshops, so you know.
That's important to me. I'm going over past writing right now, and I find that I need to be by myself. I need to let myself cry. Going over the past writing is also big work for me. I feel like it helps me carry on.
Oh, sure.
And that's what I'm doing a lot of right now.
So talk about your trilogy, The Cabin. What's that one all about?
Okay. First of all, I want to hold this in front. This is
okay.
And then I want to say I do have the whole story, Cabin Lesson, written. It needs edits, it needs work, but it is written, and I believe it's going to be beyond a trilogy.
Okay.
I don't know how many books. I know there will be at least 3, but I expect it will be more than that. And it's the story of a woman who makes major changes in her life. She leaves a marriage, just kind of puts all security, all so-called society security aside, or not all of it, but all of it. In her mind, it was leaving a lot of it and stepping out into a new life and having the need to write out what was happening just to move through that and make the changes that she was making. And her name is Grace. And the first book is called Cabin Lessons of Rhythm. And there are more to come.
All right. And so I'm wondering how much of the cabin lessons are based on your life.
I borrow from my own life. It's very important that I recognize that I am a fictional writer. A lot of my writing is what I make up about life. Because that's what we do as human beings.
Sure.
So it's fiction from the very beginning because it's what I'm making up, even the lies I'm telling myself about current life situations.
Okay. Now that's beautiful. I want to explore that because, I think that that's the thing that we get kind of caught up in is what's really real in our current situation and what are we making up about that current situation, about what other people are thinking, which is crazy that we do that, but we do it, So how close is life and fantasy related, in your opinion?
I don't claim to be an expert on this, so I don't know. What I'm reading right now is how much any thought, is something that we're making up, or even a self-attack. So to me, it's about clearing my mind. I'm not there yet, and yet that is where I can be there. I don't want to go like it's in some future point. I can take a deep breath, and I'm there.
Yeah.
So I am there at times. I just don't want to go on this program feeling like putting it out there that I'm living in a state of thoughtlessness.
No, but this program is just about the present moment.
That is the goal, to, release the thoughts, all that clutter in our minds, so that we can be clear, and then we can move forward in life, just handling life one thing at a time with really what is right in front of us.
Yeah, I think it boils down in my world to accepting. Just accepting everything as sort of what it is. I think that when I start making stuff up, is when I go into judgment and not accepting. And then that never turns out pretty.
Yes. Judgment, self-blame, which is actually, when you blame yourself, you're also blaming others. It all falls together.
Right.
So I agree with that, Jean.
Yeah. So, I like what you're saying about really focusing on trying to stay present as much as possible so that you don't go into making things up and judging and all of that. Because everything that happens is just a beautiful experience. I think it's all meant to show us stuff, which is why writing is so good, because if you can write down your thoughts around something, then when you can look back at it, I think maybe that's when you're able to see the picture that you were supposed to be shown.
Yes, but every opportunity is a gift. Every experience is a gift. No matter what we want to label it, it's actually a gift for our self-learning. That's what I'm learning. And that's one of the reasons that I write, to understand the gift of every experience. Did I lose you?
No, you're there. So we've got book 1 of Cabin Lessons out now. When will we expect book 2?
I'm editing it right now. I would like to have it out 2000 next year. That's my commitment right now.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, very good. Because these are good lessons. They're not just lessons from the cabin, but they're lessons for all of us. Because as I read your work, I learn from it, and I'm sure everybody else will as well.
I want to hold up my first book.
Yes, please.
Just to show a picture of it. This is the first book, and the one thing I want to make clear is my website is actually www.janetlfurst.com.
Oh, oops, sorry.
Make sure that L's in there, because that's the throat.
Okay, thank you, because somehow or another I missed that, because I just click on things. I don't actually usually type them in, so I missed that. So thank you very much for making that
clear. It's easy to miss the L.
Yeah, very good. And now, are you blogging as well?
No, I'm not.
Okay. So that's one of the commitments that I have made to myself, is that I used to do it regularly, and I've just fallen off the writing wagon. Taking a break, I suppose, kind of like my little summer hiatus on the show. And I've decided that in order to get my big toe back in the water again, I'm going to make a commitment that every Friday I'm going to put out a blog. So,
I look forward to reading that.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I'm going to try to get serious about it. I actually wrote one yesterday. So I am trying. I've got one Friday. It's kind of like you. You've got a bunch of books, and they're ready to go. I got one in the can now. So
wonderful.
Yeah. So I'm going to start doing that. And so then, what are you looking to do outside cabin lessons?
What am I looking to do? Eventually. What am I looking to do? Right now, I'm writing out some essays and poems. I had a significant loss a couple years ago, and I wrote out some of my emotions and the experiences around that loss. And I'm working to put them together as a series of essays and poetry around grieving and loss and continuing and living in joy.
Wow, that's going to be profound.
One of the things, I have an archive of writing, and I wrote a book. It's a manuscript. It's not a book. About the life of my grandmother, trying to understand things about my grandmother that were not told at the time, the mysteries about it.
Oh, yeah.
And then a parallel to another woman's life, who is a character whose life was similar to mine. And that is titled Lillies Elizabeth. My grandmother's name is Elizabeth. So I'm committed to that book. It's my gift to my grandmother. And yet I have a lot to do before I get to that one. So those are some of the projects that I'm looking to do. It's really going to take years, in the next couple of years.
Well, do you feel like all this body of writing that you've done, and especially, I feel the heartness in the poems and the essays, but do you feel like this has changed your life in any way?
It's completely changed my life. Since I started writing, everything about my life, everything about my life has changed. Where I live, who I live with, what I do on my daily basis. How I take care of myself. That was one of the things in my younger life was learning to give to Janet. That's still my lesson, learning to put Janet first. That's a big one. It even seems like, how do you do that? But that's been my life lesson, and I'm on the path of that.
Good.
I believe the writing process and my focus toward giving to myself, it was the one place that I gave to myself to do this writing at one point every day. And that was the beginning of learning to take care of myself. And as I've learned to take care of myself, I feel like it's affected those around me. I feel like none of that, if I hadn't started writing, I wouldn't be talking to you today. So
that's true.
That brings it full circle.
Exactly. Well, this is beautiful, and I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to share yourself with my viewers and listeners, because I think that you're really on a great path. Your books are beautiful. I can't wait to get to the third one. So, viewers, it's Janet L. Furst, and that's FURST.com. So check out her work. And be sure, if you read her books, be sure and go on Amazon and write a review for her, because that is so important to those of us who write. So, that's really good. So thank you so much, Janet.
Oh, Jean, this has been a wonderful first-time opportunity for me. So I am grateful to spend this time with you and whoever's out there listening to both of us. And thank you, Rachel, for setting this up.
Absolutely. And so, viewers, next week there will be no show because it's Labor Day. I'm sure you guys are all going to be doing your final run at the beach and having a good time on your holiday. And the week following that, my dear friend Les Jensen will be my guest, and he has a new book out called Forgiven Sinner, God's Last Savior. And it sounds very religious, but it's actually not at all. It's very uplifting and very spiritual. So I'm going to bring that information to you, and I will see you then. And until then, remember, people who take responsibility for their lives create the reality they desire. Love you all. Ciao.